Alrighty, so today is the day we get started. Now, today's video is probably the most important factor to catch fish and improve your fishing abilities. By far. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in my tackle company, and it doesn't even come close to how important this next factor in regards to improving your fishing abilities. Okay, now what that is the hassle factor. All right, now the hassle factor is probably the biggest limitation you'll find when it comes to going fishing, whether it be your job, your family, where you live compared to where the fish are, whether it be a kayak, your solo skiff, your canoe, your boat. Okay, the hassle factor is what gets between you and going fishing. Okay, you wake up in the morning and you have the decision, I could go fishing today, but then you also calculate, but I also need to do this, this, and this, and if I want to go fishing, I've got to do this, this, and this, and then you're like, if the hassle factor wins out, then you end up saying, well, I guess I'm not going to go fishing today. And thereby, you catch nothing and you learn nothing. So your improvements don't happen and you don't get better at fishing. Alright? Super important. And we're going to fix that today. So in today's video, we're going to work on two of the key components for the hassle factor. One is, where am I going to store this solo skiff? Okay, and this part of the video is going to be good regardless of solo skiff, kayak, canoe, boat, whatever. Okay, where am I going to keep that vessel? All right, if you don't have that figured out, then probably I wouldn't have bought it in the first place, because you can't just be shifting it, moving it, having it in some place that's not accessible and it's a hassle to get to, because what's going to happen? You're not going to use it, and it's just going to sit there, and it's going to be a garage queen, and all the thing is going to come down to, it's going to be a great deal for the person that you sell it to, because you're never using it, it's just sitting there wasting away, and you just want to get rid of it so you can have the space back. Alright, so finding a location of where you're going to want to keep it, how you're going to store it, whether it be on some racks, on its side, etc. Okay, it needs to be very accessible, very to get on and off and moved around. Okay, hassle factor, keep that in mind. The second factor is getting it from where you're storing it to the water. Okay, and today we're going to be working on getting it from where I'm storing it to my vehicle that's going to get me to the water. Alright, that's what we're going to work on, because again, it's so important that everything be as reduced hassle as possible, so that you don't even have to consider, oh, I have to just get my kayak and oh, it's right there. Oh, I have to get it to my vehicle. Oh, my vehicle just backs right up to it. I don't have to do anything. Alright, and no worries, you're going. Versus, oh, I got it stored way in the back and I got to move the lawnmower, the bikes. Oh God, the cars are in the way. I got to move the two cars out of the way. Oh shoot, I forgot, my wheels don't have air in them, etc, etc. Hassle, hassle, hassle. And what do you end up doing? Forget it, it's just not a good day to go. I'm gonna do something else. Alright, so that's what we're gonna work on today. So in regards to storing the solo skiff, I built this platform here, basically 10 foot long, primarily because I got a 2x4 by 10 foot and made those my side rails there. And just use some 2x4 legs. Inside ones go all the way to the top, and then the outer 2x4 supports the side rails, and I've got 6 legs. Basic build. This is our extra sheet off of the flooring for my workshop that I didn't use, so I went and did that, and then extra couple pieces just to finish off the 10 foot there. Use some more of the paint from my door here, the $9 gallon of Mistake waterproof, not really paint, I guess it's oil-based orange colored stuff, but it'll work for this to waterproof it, make it last a little bit longer. I actually did this at an angle, a slight angle, so it's 19 inches plus the top on the back, 18.5, and then 18 on this part. So there's a 1 inch difference from that side, the head side, down to bow to the stern, and that is so that the water can drain naturally. Since this area is so uneven, I had to put different blocks to get it right, but that's still the same angle basically. Now I do have it here, but I think I am going to move it, and I'm gonna move it to the side of the house once I've done all the modifications, since I'm right here by my workshop. It makes it a lot easier. One of the things I'm going to change right off the bat is I'm going to notch out where the motor goes, which is basically here. The motor mounts right through there down to the hole there, and this is open. So I want to do the same opening so I could actually put the motor on, and then when I'm adding my accessories and as well as making sure that it's adjusted correctly, I could do it on my stand. Now once I'm done rigging, I think this is going to be the final resting place for it. Just lie the table across there, have the bow all the way towards by the tree, and then the stern all the way back here. That'll make it an easy, just angle it and then just load it up onto the car or the trailer or whatever there, and that way I don't have to roll it on these rocks. I don't have to get the corner around the back of the house and have to move the other kayaks and stuff. So that should be just about perfect. Now one of the things I actually need to get that solo skiff moving is a motor. So this is the 6 horsepower Suzuki that I rebuilt, new pistons, rings, heads, everything. It was running great until I let it sit for a year. Broke that cardinal rule of use it or lose it, and I basically lost it. It'll actually start and fire up if I put fuel into the spark plug hole and then pull on it. It'll run for just a second or two. Sounds good, but I kind of figured the carburetor is all gummed up because there was no fuel in the float bowl, so fuel is not getting to the carb, which is not getting to the motor. Pretty sure that's it. And then I have to check to make sure that the fuel pump is actually working, because this has a fuel pump where my small motors have a gravity feed, but 92% sure that's the carburetor, because there was no fuel in the float bowl. So of course there's nothing going to be going past that. So that's what we're working on now. And we have success. Baby's running and peeing. Sounds pretty good. Since we got the motor running, I went ahead and set it up on the skiff. Prior to that, I had notched out the opening already because I wanted to stage everything. I'm in the kind of mode of getting everything lined up, so that's primarily why I built this table, so I could use it for mocking it up. So one of the things I could see right off the bat is I need to adjust this. As you can see, it's right there on the edge, so I'm going to need to pull that out so it sits a little bit out, otherwise it's going to rub. But yeah, that's the motor. All right, I just shifted it 1 pin up, and now that gives me a nice almost an inch gap there, so that's good. We got our clearance, got maybe 2 inches clearance on the bottom there. Yeah, looks good. And I can also see what my clearance is. So basically, how much water I need to be in to run that outboard. Nice. Next up, we're going to be working on getting it from the home location to my car, which is just down this way to here. So that is going to be accomplished using this new carry system I got. It's a Boondocks system. It basically has these arms that kind of fold out of the way or fold under when you're using them. I've got the balloon tires for the sand. I've got the C-Tug style, which is a wider, harder plastic. And then I've got more of the standard run flats. They're the solid standard rubber tires there. Now the reason for this is depending on the ground is which one that you'll use. 2 is this system basically stays on the kayak when not in use, so you don't have to take, you can take them off, but the arms stay in there and you can just go fishing, and then when you get back they're ready to go, and you just basically have to pull them out a bit and just reinsert them and it's ready to go. And the even better part about this system is you could do it with the tires and everything while on the water, so you don't have to lift the kayak to get wheels or any kind of cart underneath it. You do it on the water and it's ready to go. And that is also why I have these, which have no air in them. They're solid tires, so it's very easy to get them underneath because they sink basically, and you can get them onto the solo skiff while it's still in the water, where this will be second easiest because it doesn't hold air, it's solid. And then the hardest would be these balloon tires for the sand tires, because you're trying to push them down in order to get that inserted. It's a lot harder, but it really comes down to the type of ground you're using. For here, the balloon tires work the best. I've tried all 3, they all work. I could still do them, but because of this rocky stuff, and especially in the main quarter, the driveway part, it's thick with these rocks, so it's almost like going through a beach or sand. It'll sink in. So those are the worst for that because they're skinny. Those are a little bit better because they're wider, but turning makes it very difficult with those, where those will turn a little bit better because they'll sink in, but it's easier to rotate them. But the balloon tires ride right up on top, especially going over this non-ground stuff here, and it goes over them without a problem. So at home, getting them loaded, I'll probably go to these. Then when depending on if I'm going to a concrete boat launch and I could park real close, I'd probably go with those, because those are going to be easy to mount and take off while on the water. If I'm going to use like a boat ramp like we have in Marathon on the 53rd Street, where there's 24 different parking spots and you have to park opposite where the boat launch is, I'll probably use those because those are the most efficient on hard ground. And then if I do any soft launches or beach or rocky stuff like this, then I would use the balloon tires. Okay, so kind of important. There's not one that fits all, but it's good that I have the option to use all 3. So let me show you these real quick. All right, so in storage, I would have either the arms up or I'd have them off to keep them out of the sun. But basically, we start out like that. In order to clear these legs, I need to pull this back. Just so that the legs can clear. And then slide them out. Okay, once the legs are down, then I could pull it off. Now the full weight is on the legs. So there, and we're here. Normally I would basically bring the tip to this point right to the edge, and I could tell because it'll drop down into the hole here. Then I know I'm fairly close to the edge because I want it as close as possible, but I've got it set up pretty easy. So once it's at that point, then it's rolling, and I could do it with one hand. And there you go. It's on the wheels. Now, if you notice, it's not going to fit. Hassle factor, red flag. So in order for me to get this out as is, I need to move my blue kayak out of the way, and then I'll have enough room to get it out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move my blue kayak out of the way. Notice which way the front is pointing. That's going to be a factor here versus the way this one's pointing. Notice with my 16-foot kayak, I can make it around this corner just by itself. Now watch what happens with the solo skiff. Here's another hassle factor reduction. This is a body dragger. So the way that's gonna work, slip it on the handle, run the handle through it so it's there, and then now I've got a strap that I could put over my head and over my shoulder. So now when I'm lifting, I can lift with this strap on my shoulders versus trying to hold this thing in all these weird positions. But now we could slowly roll it back. Like that. And I can actually do it hands-free. So that makes it a lot easier than trying to hold this whole thing up with your grip strength. And then I use both for control, and then we're gonna run it all the way to this corner, and then we're gonna do our 3-point turn, or maybe a 2-point turn, because I can only fit so far. Hassle factor. And here lies another hassle factor. Okay, there's not enough room anywhere around here to turn this thing around so I could have the front pointing that way, which is where I'm going to load stuff. So the only way to turn it around is go all the way to the street, turn it around, back it in, back my car or whatever I'm going to get it to tow it out of here, and then I could load it. And then it's the same thing when I come back. I could get it down backwards, but I don't want to bring it down here backwards. I want it front loaded over there. So I have to do the same thing. Pull the vehicle over, get the solo skiff down, and then I could turn it and then come back with the front going in there. Huge hassle factor. I hate it. It pisses me off. So we're gonna have to do something about that. All right, let me show you car topping it real quick. And there you go. And that is car topping a solo skiff on a Honda Fit. Works pretty good. I could have made it a lot easier on myself if I adjusted the pads for the solo skiff versus my kayak, because it's a lot wider, but it would have slid on a lot easier. But that's the basic principle. It fits nicely. However, hassle factor is high, and if you don't have a nice flat ground to pick it up and move it, it's heavy and it's bulky to try to maneuver. The wheels make it a lot easier, but big thumbs down for convenience. So definitely got to work on that. Now that I have the solo skiff off, I can show you the finished stand here. Went ahead and cut out the hole, and the biggest thing for the hassle factor was actually adding this carpet runner down the center. That plastic on wood does not slide very well, and it was gouging into the paint, so that wasn't good probably for the plastic or the wood there. But adding this runner, it just slides on no problem. So that is done. However, back here it just annoys the hell out of me, even though it's close to my workshop, and I need to, the next stage is going to be actually doing some actual modifications to it. I just can't stand it over here because trying to get it out is just a nightmare. So I think I want to move it. So I think this is going to be its new home. The most important thing is to get the front pointed that direction. So that's always going to be the loading point, make it a lot easier. So when I back it off here, I could bring it and just get the back started and then swing the front on it. Or I could run it back, get the front started, and then slide it up there. But either way, it's easy to lift both sides and slides easy, especially with the carpet. So I think I'll just I'm going to go ahead and level it out. I need the front side there to be up higher, so when it rains, the water will run off the back of the solo skiff, since that's the open side. So let me do that real quick and then we can test it out. All right, I think I've got it balanced there. Definitely having a good angle. It's balanced side to side all the way across. So let me show you how I load it up. And there we go. Tucks in there nicely. Still can get the car in here, load my kayak up. It's out of the way, somewhat partially covered, but definitely covered in the sun in the midday and evening. Just the morning it'll get some sun, but that's not horrible. there we go. It's new home. Then I have anchoring points for putting a lock on the front and the back, and there's a hole that goes through the live well straight through, so I could do a rebar lock through the stand. So definitely ain't taking this thing. But bam, done. And then loading it front forward. So the only difficulty I have is because that side is blocked, is getting that side wheel on, but it's really not too bad. I just need to slide it back, and so it's just off this corner here, this side, and then I could already have the right side in now, and then the left side just needs to clear this corner, put that in, and then swing it out and roll it on. So that'll work fine. All right, we can do the old water test. Make sure it drains, so when it starts raining we don't have any pools of water sitting on the gel coat. Nice, works good, runs right off. All right, cool. I think we are done. All right, now that's done. Now there's generally a golden rule when it comes to the kayaks, I guess boats do it too, is when you get a new vessel, you don't want to really start modifying it, the actual vessel, until you get it on the water a couple times. But right off the bat, I kind of mentioned this earlier, when I picked this thing up, it had a couple of gallons of water inside the hole, and the only way to get inside the hole on these things are through this seat hatch, and that gives you direct access to the actual hole down here. The problem with that is when you have water inside there, it'll either go to the back or the front depending on how it's angled, and to get it to sit right in the middle here is almost impossible. So trying to drain that thing was just a huge mess. It took forever to try to get it drained out because I wanted to see where there might be a leak somewhere. But because of that, I went ahead and did this, is I installed a Hobie vertical hatch. Yeah, this is a Hobie, just like my kayak, but they make the best hatches, although I don't know if they're worth the $130 I paid for it, when you can get basically the same thing for $30 just without the underbase. But I installed this vertical hatch so I can get in the front here and pull out some of this water and have access for more storage. These are the rod tubes for running your rods through here if you're going to have them staged in the bottom of the solo skiff. But then I have this all for storage. Gives you a little storage here where I put my body carrier, so that's why I leave that. And then also gives you access if you're going to mount anything here, because I will want to be doing some night fishing with this thing, so I'll have to put the navigation lights in here. And just for the other thing is, this is an actual live well, so one of the things I want to do is put a hinge on here so it's not totally just removable, but this is just a storage. This hole, however, goes straight through to the bottom, so when you don't have that in, water comes in this, so you can plug it and make it a dry well, or as a live well, you could put a entry point, a pump, and then an entry point here so the water sprays in, and then you could put a tube here, which is your drain, since that goes straight down to the water. So whatever height you have that tube, that's the height that'll be in here. So I would need access to do a live well, since that's my new thing and live bait matters. So this is where you would mount the inlet for the live well pump, and then this would be where the water drains. So I would need access anyway, so I did this one, and yeah, came out good, pretty easy. Just cut a hole and put some screws through it, and then it's got an underbase, so support, so it's two pieces. But yeah, it was a 15-minute project that came out really nice. Doesn't leak, so happy about that. And the other thing I did, which is getting it registered. So I got my sticker on this side, I think you can see, yeah, there. So got it registered, and we're legal. So yeah, I think early prep stuff is done. All right, so that gets us finished for this part of the project. We got our home base. We've got our wheels to get it maneuvered around. We had relocated the actual base to a new location that's easier to load. We got our couple of the hatch, we got it registered. Now we need to figure out, that gets us from the home location to the vehicle. Now we have to work on getting it from home to the water, and that's going to be next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.